So I would actually take this one step further, and I would want to see a complete overhaul of the sandboxing in Kenshi in its totality. Because right now the sandboxing is pretty simplistic. Basically, if they're not doing anything or they don't have a job that's assigned to them or they're unable to perform the job that has been assigned to them, they just go and sit down at the nearest place to sit. Which in some ways is nice because if you have like a grand dining hall or a tavern that you've set up with plenty of chairs and stuff like that, they will go and sit down. It's almost like they're sitting in the tavern, but it's not really true sandboxing. It's just, hey, if I don't have instructions, I'm going to go sit somewhere. What I would like to see is a complete overhaul of the sandboxing system to include things like markers and animation sets where if they're not doing something, they will find something to do. You can put miscellaneous things throughout the course of your outpost or throughout the course of a city where if you're not actively doing something, the NPCs or your members of your faction will go around and they will perform these little animations, sweeping, training, walking around, chatting with each other, just something to make it feel more lively, like they're actually doing something when they're not doing something. And then to expand on this even further, I would like to see actual animations tied to the workbenches that are beyond just like swinging at the air with a hammer or twiddling their thumbs in front of a workbench. Obviously at the time, this was probably a limitation to the engine and just the way that Kenshi was coded, but like now we have the capability to get that done. In fact, there are a handful of mods that do something very similar to that. So we know that it's possible in the older engine. In the newer engine, it should be more than possible. I'd like to see the baker actually baking bread. I'd like to see the quartermaster actually forging on the forge, hammering the steel, making the weapons. I'd like to see the person researching at the workbench actually like picking up books and writing notes and doing those things. So if you had better sandboxing and animation markers that were related to sandboxing that you could place throughout your settlement that would let them do things, in addition to workbenches that have animations tied to them, all of a sudden your base would feel significantly more lively. All of a sudden cities would feel even more lively than they already are because in addition to citizens walking around and doing stuff, you also have them talking to each other more. You have them engaging with each other more, and you have them performing unique and individual actions that make everything feel more alive. And if you implemented a shift system, like you said in the comment here below, you could have it set where at a certain time of night, everyone will funnel to the taverns. They will all sit down and they'll have a drink. They'll all sit down and chat and hang out and funnel and use those animation markers in the tavern. And then they will all go to bed, except for the guards, who you can have patrol routes that will follow that patrol route. And they will actually like act like guards instead of just randomly walking around or sitting on a turret just waiting until eventually they starve to death. So yeah, there's a lot that could be done with a better shift system. There's a lot that could be done with better animation. There's a lot that could be done with the workbenches and just jobs as a whole. And I really hope that we get at least some of those in Kenshi 2 because we know they're possible. We've seen the mods do them in Kenshi 1 and Kenshi 2 has got a much better engine. So we'll see.